Hello YouTube, Hiker Daniel here. So it's been a while since I made a video and sorry for that, but I've been quite busy. However, today I want to talk to you about what might be one of Nintendo's most obscure handheld consoles, the Pokemon Mini. This topic was requested by my friend Rachel, and before she mentioned it, I never even heard of this console, so it's pretty obscure Nintendo history. But yes, Nintendo once released a miniature handheld console exclusively for Pokemon games. And this is it. Unfortunately, I could not get my hands on one, as they go for ridiculous prices online here in Europe, as this little console was never very popular or more than a collector's item, and thus they are very rare to come by, and the game cartridges itself released for it at this point are even rarer in some cases. However, in this video I want to tell you what I have learned about this little system that captured my curiosity, and the first and probably most obvious thing is its size. This little console is very small. It's even smaller than the Game Boy Micro, which is considered by many to be Nintendo's smallest console. Unfortunately they're wrong, because this is it. It reportedly only weighs about 70 grams or 2.5 ounces and takes just a single AAA battery, which lasts for 50 to 60 hours depending on the game. And the system was about as big as an original Game Boy cartridge, so not very big. As it was released in the year 2001 in Japan and North America and 2002 in Europe, this was a time when handheld graphics as they appeared on the GBA were still considered very good, but even for those standards, the games on this little system were, well, not looking very good. The thing had a black and white screen, which only had 64 by 96 pixels, so essentially a 64p screen, making for an even worse screen than the original Game Boy, which had a 144p screen. The screen was not backlit, but apparently there were easy mods to make it backlit, which can still be bought today. The system had only a D-pad and an A and B button, with weirdly a C button tacked onto the side of the system, which was often used for opening menus apparently. The hardware, while underpowered, did have some impressive-ish aspects like a small rumble motor, 6 internal save slots, a read switch to detect if you're shaking the system, and even an infrared system to facilitate wireless multiplayer in games like the card game Pokemon Zany Cards released for the system or Pokemon Party Mini. Although all reports I hear of this indicate that the range of this infrared was extremely short, so you had to hold the systems together quite closely. But unfortunately I could not test this as obviously, like I said before, I couldn't get my hands on one. The system was released in 3 variants, Wooper Blue, Chikorita Green and Smoochum Purple. Of those 3, I have to say that I prefer the Chikorita one, but if I ever get lucky enough to add this to my collection, I won't be picky on any of the colors considering its general rarity. Considering the very underpowered hardware and its poor sales in the West, it didn't receive many games, nor was it meant to really. It only received 10 games in total, all Pokemon themed, and most of them can be described as mediocre minigames. With the US only getting 4 games, Europe getting 5 games and Japan getting all 10 games. The games themselves were mostly minigames, being the likes of Pokemon Pinball, Pichu Bros Mini, Pokemon Party Mini, Pokemon Breeder Mini, Pokemon Puzzle Collection, Pokemon Racer Mini, and even a Pokemon Tetris. The largest game of the bunch, and immediately also the rarest game to get for the system as a collector, was apparently Togepi's Great Adventure, which released in 2002, only in Japan, which was a small adventure game where you had to help Togepi escape a tower. And with Pokemon Party Mini being the most widespread game of it all, because it was the pack-in game with the system. As I said before, this system didn't sell very well at all, and in the West it basically flopped. In Japan things were a bit better, as the system competed with the popularity of the Tamagotchi animals, so Nintendo released a few more games there for the system, including Pokemon Breeder, which was a sort of Tamagotchi. But even there, the system was a huge success. Part of this was probably due to the marketing, but part of it was undoubtedly also because of the steep price. So the system itself was $40 and the games were $20, which was a bit overpriced considering even the standards at the time, because none of the games were very impressive, neither was the system. Games for it were mostly developed by contracted developers Jupiter and Tenusha, with only Pokemon Tetris being developed in-house by Nintendo themselves. This was basically regular Tetris, except if you kept making lines you could catch Pokemon, which was kinda neat. Other than that, it's pretty interesting to mention that there at least used to be a pretty vibrant homebrew community for the system, which has released a ton of games and ports for the game system, like Sonic for the system, which are all available if you manage to get a flashcard for it, which is also very rare because again, this system didn't sell very well and not many people are interested in it. However, it's definitely worth to check out if you can get a flash card for the system if you are a collector and have one and want to get actual use out of this little system. And that was basically all there is to say about this obscure little console. From what I've seen, the games are all being described as pretty fun, and I've seen some gameplay and I guess it's pretty entertaining. But if you're looking for a real good Pokemon entertainment, it's not really worth it to buy, unless you're a hardcore collector. I wish I was able to get my hands on this system before this video, because I am a collector, but alas, I'm too poor, and thus I can't really get my hands on one. Although if I one day do, I might mention it in a future video. That said, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider sticking around for more Nintendo history and trivia content on this channel, or checking out one of my other videos. And if you didn't, well, at least I enjoyed my time here. And that said, it's time for me to get back to blankly staring ahead, waiting for a Pokemon trainer that I can harass so he battle me. See ya!